Hey everyone, in this episode I thought I'd talk to you a little about our four warlords and four new characters that we're introducing in our first narrative event. As we are closing in on the chapter 1's epic conclusion, I wanted to talk to you a little about our four warlords and the four new characters we are introducing as, well, for our first narrative event. The foundation of the narrative in Meridia is our four warlords and how they represent each grand alliance. These warlords, they have their own motivations to be here. Everyone's got their own quest to go on. So I thought just look at these at a glance before I introduce to you the four new characters. First we have Garlock Shoresteel. He's a Celestin Prime, and as a commander of the Sigmar's armies. He hails from Shaman, the plane of metal, and it's as stoic as the gleaming mountains back home. Well, he fought the old wars against Sinch, and now Sigmar has given him a new task to lead the Dawnbreaker Crusade into the territories long forgotten. After a trying journey through the swamps and jungles of Gairan, the Meridian Crusade landed on the shores of Meridia as the chapter started. Here we meet another character, Kyla Worm Slayer. She is the leader of the Everbloods, the protectors of the northern clans. They live in a martial society where strength rises to the top, and she's fought her way all the way up. The clans, they worship two deities named the father and the daughter, but the father is the old and wise and the daughter is a young protector. So as a protector, she has seen the threat landing on her shores. She also realizes that this is no war party, this is a conquering army. So she musters all the soldiers she can get and start to attack this new intruder. Our third warlord is a Vengorian lord named Forian Borsch, a hideous amalgamation of monster and vampire. He has been sent here by his mistress Laukavai, the matriarch of the Vengori Soulblight vampire dynasty. She has ordered him to find an artifact of great importance to her without enclosing any more clues to what it might be, at least not to us, the readers. So he has found the first piece as our chapter begins, and he has set his beady eyes on the enormous towers locals call the world axis to start searching for the second part of his quest. As our story begins, the Wergog prophet Thief Splitter has a vision of a land far away where the ash covers the ground and is white, turns to water as he picks it up. He and his Drakfoots, they hunt the mightiest of demons in the ashen fields of Akshi, the plane of fire. So he's far away from the shores of Meridia as the story begins. But he and his men, they have set their eyes on the mighty bloodthirster called Gorslaker, and now his vision has given him an insight into how they can slay this unslayable creature. So in an epic fight lasting for 9 days, they finally managed to chase the corn demon into a round gate leading to the huge volcano at the center of Meridia. Here, they slay the creature, and as they deliver the final blow, T-Splitter sees Stormdrake guards from the Stormcasts and realizes that this demon was just a test from Gorkamorka. His eyes scans the ground as the drakes fly away, and he can see a huge tower in the distance and the weird energies that emanates from that place. So, realizing that the demon was a test and the real fight is down there, well, he and his boys start running down the mountains toward the huge structure in the far, far, far distance. So, everyone is slowly making their own way towards the world axis for completely different reasons. And as we reach the eve of the battle and just hours away from the mayhem and the bloodshed that will ensue, we are introduced to 4 new characters and get to witness their own preparations for the fight. First, we have Odessa Twiceborn. She is a Knight Arcanum and has received an order to take her army and conquer a fort named the Northern Lock. This fortification controls the northern entrance to the dried out lake bed where the world axis is situated. Can she claim this fort? The flank will be theirs, a really important strategic point. She has given herself to Sigmar and has amassed a following of zealots who see her as a bride of Sigmar. But she has other motives than just taking the world axis for her master. Since she has landed on this shore, news of the vampire Forian Borsch has reached her. She has fought this vampire before, even before he was transformed into the Vengorian lord he is now. And as she failed back then, she swore that she would one day bring him a death that he couldn't come back from. Now, she feels that Sigmar has given her a second chance and will not stop until she has finished her task. As Kayla leads the great charge into the fray, one of her trusted lieutenants is charged with protecting the northern flank and the fortifications. His name is Gorm Skullbreaker, and we meet him as he inspects the armaments and the guard positioned on the wall. They are aware of enemies closing in, and they're doing a big ritual at dawn to receive the bloodied blessing of the daughter. He is a huge warrior with a legacy of his own, and he realizes the strategic importance of the fort. If he can hold it, well, then he has probably turned the tide of the war. Lurking in the woods not far from the fortification, we meet Armelia Muerte. She is a child of Forian Borsch. He created her long ago and brought her with him to Meridia as a trusted servant. She has been trusted with sowing chaos on the northern flank, and on the eve of the battle she is searching the old grounds for bodies to fuel her necromancy. She finds a lot of bodies buried in the old battleground, so she prepares the ground for an ambush as Order needs to pass there on their way to the fort. Last but not least, we have Mad Dog Bonebreaker. He's the second in command as the orc horde is running down the mountains toward the world axis. They all feel, the weird energies emanating from the place, and they, with almost no opposition on the way down, they're restless. They're fighting each other, and Mad Dog has to break up a lot of fights. But soon, they're going to put that restless energy to good use. We find him as they finally come into the shadow of the world axis as the sun rises. The dawn is breaking, and they break into a run, feeling, they can taste the war. So there we are. The four warlords, they're fighting the big fight down the dried out lake bed below. And the 4 sub-commanders, or the 4 new characters, well, they're fighting their own fight around the northern lock, the fort that bars the entrance from the north into the fight below. So every battle registered in November until the 20th of November counts towards your warlord and who will win the battle for the world axis. Maybe not for good, but at least for chapter 1. So as always, keep telling stories and make every casual game count. And I'll see you in the next one.